Ladies and gentlemen, we now start our next session, Marketing Innovations and Infusions of Technology in Agriculture. We have with us our eminent speakers. Chairing the session would be Professor M. Moni, Chief Advisor, IT, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. I request the speakers to please come up on the dais as I announce their names. Professor M. Moni. Our special address would be by Shri Prasanta Kumar Swain, Joint Secretary, Marketing and AMA, Department of Agriculture Cooperation and Farmers Welfare, India. Joining them are another speakers, Mr. Krishnan Dharmarajan, Chief Executive Director, Institute of Financial Management and Research, Ms. Nora Galway, Agricultural Counsellor, Australian High Commission, India, Mr. Vinay Kumar, Regional Director, Asia, Digital Green, Dr. Ranjna Nagpal, Deputy Director General, NIC, Mr. Rajneesh Rana, General Manager, Energy Efficiency Services, EESL Limited. I now request our chairperson, Professor M. Moni, to please take over the session.
Thank you very much to the organizer. I apologize for the late starting of this session. I introduce our panel member, Shri Kumar Swain, Joint Secretary, Marketing and Agriculture Marketing Advisor, Ministry of Agriculture. Mr. Krishnan Dharmarajan, Executive Director, Center for Digital Financial Inclusion. Dr. Nora Galway, Agriculture Counsellor, Australian High Commission. Mr. Vinay Kumar, Regional Director, Asia Digital Green. Dr. Ranjna Nagpal, Deputy Director General. And Mr. Rajneesh Rana. We have been allocated 90 minutes. In the first 90 minutes, first 15 minutes, I will request Mr. Prasanta Swain, Joint Secretary, to have his presentation and also a video film about his talk. Then each member will have about 10 minutes. Then the rest of the time we will have a question and answer session. And Mr. Prasanta Swain.
Keep it here. नहीं फर्स्ट मैं रन स्टार्ट कर दूं? एक मिनट मैं क्लिक करूं तो हो जाएगा आरो में कहाँ पे कौन सा ये ऊपर F5 प्रेस यहाँ कर दो F5 प्रेस कर दो तो स्टार्ट नहीं मैं उसको चलाऊंगा ना हाँ तो वो राइट वो तो क्लिक अच्छा आप यहीं पे रहो Very good afternoon to all of you. It's very nice that we are talking about the agriculture marketing after probably a lunch break. Marketing will not be boring, though post-lunch session is always a kind of yawning. But let me try to give you an ecosystem so that it will leave you with certain thought-provoking session. Agriculture marketing, well, India, from 1947, we have traveled a long distance. I have no prepared speech. I'll just speak extempo. But if that suits you, then that's fine. Then I'll talk about the ENAM, from a little bit of agriculture marketing ecosystem to ENAM, which is the latest in our basket for the agriculture marketing in the country. Well, agriculture marketing, if you look at, we are a food deficit system at the time of independence. And today, 2017-18, we have huge production base with us. Almost 280 million tons of food grains, 300 million tons of fruits and vegetables, and if you take together everything, probably all the production base will be about 1 billion ton. And given this, we started with the marketing. When production happens, there are two basic seasons, Rabi and Kharif, during which the harvests are brought by the farmers. And as you know, like 86% of the farming base is farm holding is small and marginal. So obviously, the produce they have is of small scale. Maybe around 1950, we had about 250 wholesale markets where we are required to bring all these wholesale produce, because wholesale is something beyond certain quantity. Agriculture marketing is a state subject. For each of the commodity like paddy, wheat, the quantity has been defined beyond which it is wholesale. So they have to bring it to the wholesale market which are regulated. So probably around 250 wholesale markets that time, to now about 6,630 wholesale regulated markets in the country, the entire country. And when actually the journey took place from 1947, so there is a felt need to regulate these markets to ensure that the farmers get the best price for their produce. So for which the State APMC Act came up, because agriculture marketing is a state subject. So that is where the transparency was to be there, competitiveness is to be there, market efficiency was to be there in the entire value chain system, in the marketing as well as value chain system. But over a period of time, I mean, in 1960s and 70s, that is why most of the states get their APMC Act. As you must be knowing, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee Act, which regulates all this wholesale marketing, where the produce is brought to the wholesale markets. Whereas retail markets are beyond this point. So, but then these markets became non-transparent. So there was a committee in 1999, and then 2000 they gave a report, interministerial committee, based on which actually this 2003 Model Act, APMC Act, was given to the states by the Government of India, which is framed and given to the states for adoption, because it's a state subject. They will have to adopt and implement it. And to help them implement it in 2007, there was a model APMC rules which was framed based on that 2003 Act and given to the states. In those, the first time there was an attempt to bring in kind of single license facility, unified license they call it, within the state, one license. Then the contract farming was there, single pond levy of market fee was there. Then direct marketing concept was brought in, private market concept was brought in. Hitherto, there was no private markets per se. Some cooperative markets were there, but private investment was not coming up because it was a monopoly of the state through the marketing boards and the wholesale markets. So investments were not coming up. So once these facilitations were given, then we started seeing the flourishing of the private markets gradually, slowly. The contract farming was a part of the APMC Act. Thereafter, but then since this pace was not coming up very fast, in 2010 there was a committee of ministers, again they deliberated and certain reforms they suggested, based on which you have now given this APLM Act of 2017, where the livestock has also been brought into this entire forum, apart from the agriculture and horticulture produce. And we have taken out the contract farming and made it more comprehensive and given a model contract farming act this May. So that the contract farming, which actually helps the bringing the direct industry contract sponsor to the contract farming farmers, producers. You know, this helps in bringing intermediation down. In India, the intermediation, as World Bank has said, it's about 5 to 6 times in between. Whereas in Western countries, which probably Madam Nora will vouch, it is 1 to 2, which World Bank has already stated. So contract farming is one of the devices where to reduce the intermediation, so the farmers share on the retailer's price will be higher. Given this, while working on this second generation of reforms, that is APLM Act, Agriculture Produce Marketing, Livestock Facilitation and Development Act, we also launched, because it is a state subject, the markets are all limited to states, we wanted a national market to be developed freely. So that is why we thought of, and we thought probably a virtual market can help us. If it rides on the physical market, then obviously a national market can be gradually developed over a period of time, where the goods flow can take place. So that is how the concept of e-NAM, that is e-National Agriculture Market, which is launched in 2016, 14th April, Ambedkar Jayanti, it was launched, and we are now little more than 2 years. So I'll just speak about the National Agriculture Market, which is the latest innovation. In between, you had that Professor Moni will vouch for it. He had worked for this market information system. Like US has this, USDA has a very good market information system. In India, we have the AgMarkNet, where you capture the wholesale price traded till yesterday for about 300 commodities and put it in a network form. So about 3,000 markets are there in this network. So that is a AgMarkNet. AgMark Spice grading you must have heard. In that same name, we have the IT network. So where you can tap what is the price of a particular wholesale commodity which you want to access. But from there, we have graduated now. It's a live trading platform where the farmers can sell their produce in a particular APMC. They can bring it physically. But the traders who are earlier confined to a particular single market, now the traders of other market also can take a call on this. That means for farmers, the bidding can increase. Bids can increase. What's happening is today, because of the physical market, many in the past, the traders started forming monopoly and cartelization in some of the cases. So this is a faceless trading, where a e-trading platform will help traders to bid from wherever they want to take a bid. So let's see what is this National Agriculture Market. It was launched, as I have said, in 2016. Next. What is this? What is your? Kahan pe aa raha hai? Huh? Okay. In fact, the basic purpose of this market, it was launched by Honorable Prime Minister on 14th April 2016. It is to give a transparency, competitiveness to the farmers' produce, to build up a kind of integrate the markets at the state level and thereafter at the national level, and to have a quality-based trading. In fact, unfortunately, the concept of quality in a country like India is still far in between, because this quality-based trading has never been really flourished in India. So here we came up with a concept that while helping the farmer to trade, we'll test his quality, and it will be put for bidding. So the traders can bid based on the quality. So quality laboratories were set up in the APMCs where this e-NAM was being installed. In fact, this is a flagship program. Honorable Prime Minister himself has been actually focusing on this, where he's in fact promoting he's in fact focusing on this. We are working on this very regularly to improve this platform as well as to expand it gradually. So if you see that from April 2016, we have now reached 585. Our target was to reach 585 by 31st March 2018. We have done before that. So the journey has been interesting. And while doing so, we had a lot of challenges because the platform was unique in South Asia, and probably in the world also it is a kind of unique platform. Generally, people see commodity trading platform, but the spot trading platform is something of such a huge nature, complex nature, is something which we are developing. So we had a lot of technological challenge in between, which it worked together. For us in the marketing division in the Ministry of Agriculture, SFSC, Small Farmers Agri Consortium, is the implementing agency. It's a subordinate organization under us. They have given in term this development to Nagarjuna Fertilizer, which is developing the platform and expanding on our behalf, under our guidance. We have already 585. You can see that UP has the maximum number with 100 markets integrated. And now, of course, Gujarat, we have reached 79. Most of them Like in the last 1.5 months during mid-February to March end, we completed about 150 markets integration in this 585 basket. We have now, the proposal we have just got approved to integrate another 415, 200 this year and 215 next year. And this year also the budget speaks about integrating the village hearts. There are about 22,000 village hearts which are mostly retail in nature, whereas the APMCs are the wholesale. The rural hearts which are closer to the farm gate will also link this ENAM to those village hearts. So that means it can be on the hub and spoke model, and there will be a beautiful backward and forward integrations of the market, whereas the farmers doesn't have to travel all the way to the wholesale markets. They can sell it in the village markets, and whereas ENAM will give them access, wider access of the market. So if you see this ENAM, the technical platform has 6 submodules. From gate entry, because if you have seen the APMC markets physically, then at the end, the farmer brings the produce. There is a gate entry system. Then, of course, assaying we have superimposed on that, where the produce is taken after the gate entry registration. The produce is taken for assaying, and then that is uploaded into the system. Anybody can see that system. Then obviously it is put to the bidding. So during that bidding, the traders, they get a message also. If they have registered for a particular commodity, they will get a message that it is on bidding. They can take a bid. And when the bid closes at the end of, say, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever time is fixed for that bidding, it is flexible. At the end of it, the trader will get a final bid who is winning. Even the farmer will get a final bid as to how much he is getting. So if the farmer agrees to that bid, he says, yes, I agree to this bid. Then next is that weighing, invoicing, and then we have a kind of agreement generated on the system. That means it's a sale agreement between the trader and the farmer. That means farmer has agreed, and then weighing is happening. Weighing is integrated into the system, and thereafter the total value is calculated, and then therefore thereafter the online payment can be initiated. If they want, they can be online. They can be through RTGS, NEFT in the nearest bank with that voucher, which will go through escrow account to the farmer's account. Otherwise, there is this online payment, internet-based payment system, debit card-based payment system. We have now introduced Bhim also. And it is not system-based, also mobile payment facilities also we have recently introduced. So traders can have the mobile, they can use the mobile anytime from their house or anywhere and initiate the payment of that. So once this payment confirmation comes, then the market gets a signal that yes, payment has already gone to the farmer. So they release this. So the quantity can be taken out by the trader through the get exit module. So that's in nutshell how this module is working. So we have traveled quite a bit from 2016, and we have, our volume is increasing day by day. Our assaying is increasing. The volume traded is increasing. It's now gaining momentum. We have more than 1 crore farmer registered on this platform, and more than 1 lakh trader registered on this platform, and nearly 60,000 of commission agents which are there. Commission agent has a role in the market. It's different from the middleman. Middleman, when I spoke about the intermediation starts from the village gate. So, but then commission agent is in the wholesale market who helps the farmer in the sale process, cleaning, sorting, grading, packaging, and all that. So we have got 90 commodities which are traded through this ENAM platform. The benefits are, definitely there for all the stakeholders, and it is improving the efficiency in the market, because it's no more that physical handling of the bidding process. It's now the internet-based bidding process and quality assaying-based bidding process. So, and everything is through the computer. Matching is through the computer. So now we have traveled up to the bids per lot about 4.5 per lot on average. And in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, we see even in certain commodities up to 25 to 30 bids. Even in recent cases, we have seen 35 bids per lot in cotton, so and turmeric. So obviously now this is gaining ground, and which we cannot imagine in a physical bidding, that a farmer getting so many bids for his lot. It's getting competitive. It's a good quality produce is coming. Definitely he's getting a good response in the market today. So obviously we have now recently revamped all this in the mobile apps, and we have also given Bhim payment facility in the mobile itself, not only system but and this. And we have an improved website now. I'm just quickly, because my 15 minutes quota is over, I'm getting a signal. And a new dashboard system, BI dashboard system has been put so that the administrators and the supervisors can monitor their market, monitor the entire state, we can monitor the entire country in terms of performance. And we have now integrated in the registration process, we have integrated to the farmer database of the ministry, so that, and we are now also integrating with each of the individual states, so that when the farmer comes at the gate, we need not create the entire database for him. We can access it through the ministry's database and or the state's farmers database very clearly. So some of these new features we have launched recently, it's already there. So this is basically the technical thing, which input is based on certain survey. They did this design. The technology, it's an open architecture. Java is the language in which the code has been written, and obviously, so it's something which anybody to see. It's all open, and the market information is available on this, whatever we are trading. Now we are looking at price forecasting. Based on this, now we are working in the ministry towards price forecasting model. Actually, in India, the universities have worked on the univariate model. We are looking at the multivariate model, where the price forecasting in advance can be looked into. We are now examining that entire system. So that it will be like not only the price information of the past, that's the historic data, but also we'll be looking forward to the future. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Swain. Yeah, I think he has given a very brief presentation on the very important national project, ENAM, which will make a game changer in the agriculture marketing. Even though it is only on the crop sections, but what the country needs is it has to have an inclusive agriculture marketing, which is not only crops, but also livestock and fisheries. This is more important that, because we would like to see that the employment opportunity is enormous in agriculture marketing sector. So thank you very much, Mr. Swain, for making a very brief presentation, as well also the very technology aspects and so on and so forth. Thank you very much. May I now request Dr. Nora Galway to make a brief presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you to the organisers for asking me to be here today. It's a real pleasure. Talking about agriculture and talking about Australian agriculture is one of my favourite things. Anyone that you meet who works in agriculture is very passionate about it, and that includes in Australia. And I think that's reflected by the fact that Australia has such a strong image as a supplier of safe, wholesome, disease-free produce. And certainly what I wanted to do today is to share the way Australian farmers have embraced technologies, particularly digital technologies, into their production systems, and how this has actually made them some of the most efficient farmers in the world. Right now, we are really in the third revolution of agriculture, and it's the digital revolution. We've seen the uptake of digital technologies and how farmer inputs and equipment are used and monitored on many different levels. Initial uses of digital technologies in Australia were primarily around cropping systems and the equipment in and around cropping systems. But now digital technologies are being applied across livestock, horticulture, aquaculture, viticulture, all of these range of different agricultural sectors. Australia undertakes a lot of research in ag tech and in producing and employing some new and very innovative technologies in our sector that help maintain our productivity, which is increasingly difficult in our climate and our environment, which is dry. We alternate between very dry, and at the moment we are in a severe drought, to times of flood as well. Climatic conditions that we know India also shares. But we have been able to uptake these technologies in a way that not only maintain and improve our productivity, but also our competitiveness in the global market. And this is something that I am very encouraged in my time here in India about how much agriculture is being seen as shifting from subsistence farming to profitable farming, shifting from supplying food as basic necessities to supplying food and being able to achieve profitability for farmers out of that enterprise. So digital technologies, you're seeing profitability, productivity, not just being about growing more food, and it's about using the information that you can gather, understanding how that food is grown, how it is collected, how it is transported, how it is distributed. It's also about using that data to be predictive, and we already heard about price forecasting. It's actually about being able to use information in such a way to make predictive decision making by farmers so that they can use the information from historical data as well to make very robust decisions for their forward farming. In Australia in the 90s, it was primarily around the use of GPS technology, so to be able to accurately position and automatically guide farming equipment. This also coincides with the use of technologies that enabled online banking. So it's not just about digital technologies are not just about those that apply immediately on farm. They're also about those that are related to marketing, including commercial transactions, simplicity of commercial transactions, and security of those commercial transactions. By 2018, technology has moved so much more than just agricultural equipment positioning and guiding to much more about the data itself and how you can use that data to determine where and when it is best to use what type of equipment, what inputs are needed at a particular point in time. There is now widespread use of sensors throughout production systems and ever-increasing innovations in robotics, particularly in the food processing sector. So it now allows farmers to make much more informed decisions about how they are going to grow their crops, grow their livestock, grow their aquaculture, what those production systems need at the right point in time. I want to talk a little bit more about that data as well, because this is really an area that the digital technologies have really opened up for farmers in Australia. So data can be collected at a level of detail that provides the farmer with very precise predictive capabilities. Sensors allow the capture of data field by field, row by row, in a hot spot, up on the hill or lower down in a valley. It can be on a river bend, it can be in open water, and it can be at a specific pond location. Data can be collected from above ground, so things such as photosynthetic active or solar radiation levels, relative humidity, barometric pressure, rainfall, air temperature, wind speed and direction. It can be collected at ground level, looking at leaf wetness or leaf coverage of the ground and shade. It can be also collected below ground, and probably one of the most common usage of common pieces of information that is gathered by sensors would be soil moisture and temperature. And of course, it can also be collected in water sources to look at water flow, temperature, pH, particularly important in our aquaculture industries. Farm sensors can capture data from any location, regardless of the terrain, vegetation, or infrastructure. And it can capture that information, and this is probably one of the areas that enables most accurate decision-making for farmers, can capture that information 24 hours a day. So that when you think about the data that's coming in, farmers can use that information to make immediate short-term decisions on their farm management and on their immediate operations. But year after year, as you're collecting that information, then you actually start to look at trends and have much more powerful predictive capability than you would have ever had before. That data and the models around the predictive capabilities can be tailored to individual farms, large and small, and can be used to support agricultural operations with precision. Precision in watering, applying fertilisers, pesticides, and assessing the presence of pests and disease. Overall, we believe that the advances in technology and their uptake in agriculture in particular, because of course these advances are not just affecting agriculture, they're affecting many sectors. And some that are more relevant in some sectors, like ease of financial transactions, also still have benefit in agriculture as well. But focusing on some of the responses that we're hearing from Australian farmers is that this has resulted in the collection and use of robust quantitative, not just a sense or an idea of how much better they're doing. They now have quantitative, very clear data, numbers about how much their production systems are improving. It enables them to make more informed decisions with a much higher degree of precision. Those decisions can apply across the supply chain, at farm, at harvest, at collection centres, during transportation, processing, and also at consumer retail levels. The data allows flexibility, and access to that information is becoming more readily accessible through the use of mobile phone technologies and applications that allow farmers to be able to source information at any point in time, at any place in time. It also allows accuracy and precision through isolated monitoring devices and sensors that can be linked to online video streaming. But these technologies are also not without their challenges, and anyone who works in agriculture knows that this is a sector that will always be faced with challenges, let alone from those that come to us from the weather. To uptake these technologies certainly requires well-developed telecommunications infrastructure, something that in India, as an IT capital of the world, you see real embracing of the use of telecommunications as a tool in every sector, including in agriculture. This is particularly important in Australia. We're a big country and we have our rural locations very far away from city centres. So the use of mobile technologies is actually allowing farmers from very different places to make decisions about their production systems. If you don't have that telecommunications system in place, it's a very costly system, and without which it will not function practically. There needs to be really advanced, robust data sharing platforms. So farmers need to have access to the open, accessible means to see the data that's there previously and to continue to add to it. It also requires very detailed soil maps, high-intensity weather maps. So this is enabling a much better understanding of weather systems and data around those weather systems. Thank you. One of the examples that I wanted to share particularly is about Australia's table grape production. And because I think Indian table grapes would have to be one of the most flavoursome, high-quality products in the world. And I know that India's already starting to export table grapes worldwide. And I think it's a commodity which really signifies how much Indian agriculture can grow and prosper. In Australia, I've already talked about it being a very dry country, and currently we're in drought. For those of you who know Australian states, the entire state of New South Wales is declared in drought, and half of the state of Queensland has been declared in drought as well. So we have a system, we have many, many schemes about managing water, and managing water particularly in agriculture and in urban centres as well. So we had a scheme where farmers could upgrade their older sprinkler irrigation systems to high-tech drip irrigation systems. And one farmer in South Australia, who is a table grape producer, upgraded to these very high-tech drip irrigation system. And it allowed him to use the electronic systems for monitoring all of the state of the soil, the plants as they're in production, as well as for tracking how much soil moisture and water application is needed right across the entire farm. Based on feedback from soil moisture probes, the system sends an SMS to the farmer, so they don't even have to be on the farm in order to respond to the fact that watering is required in a particular location on their farm. The farmer identified the benefits as being remote control operation of the farm, collection of an action in response to real-time data, a reduction in drought stress, but also a reduction in water logging where too much water had been used. Right, I've heard the bell. This is application of water management technologies has been enabled through digital technologies. I've no doubt these can be applied to India as well.
I was showing this through this. Thank you very much. Give the bell. You should have given the bell first. Thank you, and it is very nice, talk on the digital technology in agriculture, and we have also seen that many successful practices are being done from America in Australia, and it will be very nice that the technology which is being used in Australia is also available to India, through various, methods that technology transfer is more important, because Australia, various universities in Australia, they are very strong in IT and agriculture. And at present, I understand that, they also be the president of Asian Federation of Information Technology and Agriculture, AFITA, that. Once upon a time, I was the vice president of that AFITA, which has got a base in Tokyo. So thank you very much, Dr. Nora, and, for your presentation that. May I now request Dr. Ranjna Nagpal to have a presentation, but it is getting reduced. May to finish it, please, 56 minutes time.
Good afternoon. From IT perspective and technology in agriculture, if we look at it, it's not agriculture itself is not one system. When we say agriculture, it is a combination of multiple systems which in turn have subsystems. So for a farming unit, all these subsystems, crop, livestock, land and soil, inputs in terms of seed, fertilizer, pesticides, machinery, weather conditions, market, irrigation, again major, minor, and crop insurance, finance, all these systems, they make agriculture, and each of these system in turn has multiple subsystems when we look at it, and multiple stakeholders. So all this makes agriculture a highly complex system, and when each one of us look at it, we are able to see some part of canvas and the time is over. So here I am trying to put a larger picture first and then going to certain specific solutions that we have tried to give for the information base of agriculture subsystems. So this is the stakeholders list, which is again huge list. First such example is the soil health card. This is a system that is where sampling of soil has been done all across country. The first cycle is over, first 2 years, and now we are in second cycle. So each of 2 years we have to take soil sampling, test it in the labs, and then the software engine generates recommendation for fertilizer for all 12 nutrients that are tested, and the sample soil health card is generated with the recommendation of fertilizer. So the sample size that has been suggested is for 2.5 hectare irrigated land, one sample will be drawn, and for non-irrigated land, rainfed 10 hectares area, one sample will be drawn. And these samples, 2.53 crore samples have already been collected and tested in cycle 1 for 12 parameters. The parameters NPKs, all this is listed here. And these data about soil health card generated based on the test results and the fertilizer recommended for these samples. It is available in the public domain. This is the soil health card that is ultimately getting generated, and it has the information about farmer, his land size holding, the type of crops that he is likely to grow, which can be up to 6 crops, and then the type of fertilizer per acre per hectare that is recommended for these 12 nutrient values. The data can be collected through mobile app as well as web-based application. And based on the sample analysis, we have drawn maps for the whole country for all 12 parameters. These maps are available where we can see where the soil is acidic, the pH values, zinc values, nitrogen, all parameters. And you can drill down to district level and even up to the field level. So we will know in one Balod Bazar district itself or a block of one particular district how the nutrient values are varying. And farmers are getting benefited because of knowing these nutrient values. They can put the fertilizer according to the availability of a particular nutrient in the soil. And the dashboard is available where what nutrient is low and high in various parts of the country and what is the percentage of various nutrients. Another such, and this data, the soil health card portal, etc., it is also the farmer themselves can view and print their card in the local language. So the portal supports 22 languages and local dialects for printing the soil health card. And this is being supported through the CSCs, which are available at the block level and in the villages also. So this is being used largely by the farmers in many states. Another is the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana portal. This is another system that we have developed for monitoring the construction of Sinchai Yojanas, that is the large infrastructure in terms of dams and canals, the 99 projects that our Honorable PM talks in each of his speech. So this is another portal through which we are able to monitor the physical progress of canals that are being expanded on monthly basis. We are getting regularly this data. And the dashboard is there where state-wise which project is at what stage, the start stage, medium physical financial development. And also the last screen, if you see, the last pie chart shows the problem areas or the constraints being faced in each of these projects. So we have also listed like some 2 projects which are blue, so change of scope or funding from state, or law and order situation, or clearance from various departments, or land acquisition issues. So for each of these projects, when we do monthly monitoring, the government is also able to see what are the exact issues being faced if we are not able to complete the job in hand. And the monitoring of these projects we have also supported on the GIS platform. Currently we are working on showing the route of development on the actual remote sensing maps, where we can see the water flowing on the ground and the T diagrams of these projects. Another interesting aspect is where we are trying to integrate the benefits being given to farmers. Through soil health card, through crop insurance, and many other schemes, we get a lot of information base about the farmers per se. Or we have more than 12 crore the land holdings information available in our database. So what we are trying to do here is the 14-15 schemes through which the subsidy is being given to farmers, we have linked them at the back end. So each of these schemes, when the subsidy is going to the farmer, on the dashboard you can see the numbers, how many farmers are beneficiaries, and scheme-wise beneficiaries and state-wise beneficiaries. And say somebody has received the subsidy for farm machinery. So implement dealers, manufacturers who are authorized and what type of equipment they are selling, with the benefit of subsidy given to the buyer. Similarly, this scheme of agriculture extension. So the farmers are picked up from the farmer database, and then we know how many have attended which extension program, how they have been trained, or entrepreneurs have been given subsidy. This is another major initiative of fertilizer DBT, the direct benefit being given under fertilizer. Here the full production, sale, supply chain management from stock points, wholesaler, retailer, end-to-end solution is in place. And 160 companies, importer, exporters, they are onboarded, wholesalers, 22,370, and more than 2 lakh, means 2,23,000 retailers have been supplied with the point of sale terminals, and each of these sales are being captured live. So we know every minute how the sales are happening, and the POS devices are being used with Aadhaar authentication. So we know that farmer is actually buying it. And this May onward, this has been made compulsory. No sale of fertilizer is happening without Aadhaar authentication using POS. So this dashboard is live, and every minute, every half an hour, the POS retailer transactions we are updating here, it's available. And we are able to monitor the sale and availability of fertilizer stocks right at retailer point. So the states like Tamil Nadu, they have given this retailer point availability data to farmer mobile app, and farmer before going to the shop knows when the fertilizer has reached and which material is available here. CM dashboard of Gujarat has taken it on their dashboard for knowing the stocks availability district-wise. So just 2 minutes. This is AgMarknet. Mr. Swain has already covered it. ENAM and AgMarknet. The registration of pesticide is for industry level, where again the certification and every file is being cleared electronically. There is no paperwork involved here. The export-import system, phytosanitary certificate issuance, it is live to all countries now. And this is again another paperless initiative of government. It is stable. This similar thing we are doing for seeds and animal products also. So all stakeholders are onboarded and they are using. The NOC for water extraction, this is another application which has stabilized. After 2 years, this was done as a part of initiative of Government of India, Ease of Doing Business. And second year cycle is over, so companies are now coming to us for renewal of their license. Then after MIS technology, also we are using, that is online payments, biometrics in terms of Aadhaar as well as e-sign Aadhaar number. Then mobile devices, both in terms of collection of data and dissemination of information. So you can print your soil health card on the mobile. You can see your fertilizer distribution on the mobile. big data platform for all these applications. It's a big data, and we are doing dashboards, which is sort of big data analysis. We are moving to GIS. A lot of GIS applications have been developed. And after this, we also plan to move. These are the challenges that happen. That is the storage, infrastructure requirements, analysis, sharing, visualization, and all that. We keep working against these challenges and try to implement it for all India levels. And we are now working on two major initiatives. One is blockchain architecture, because now we know the weather conditions data and soil data and the produce data, the fertilizer linked to it. So in organic farming, we are trying to do IoT and blockchain. So these are some of the areas which we are now trying to work upon. And also an open platform we are trying to build, where we can partner with various industry and other stakeholders and sort of build more and more solutions for the localized farmers, because there can't be single solution for all climatic zones. So this is another thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ranjna Nagpal, for the brief presentation. And she has shown the importance of IT in agriculture. As per some report, India needs about something like 2 lakhs IT professionals. You know, this is an indication. It's being talked about that. And even the soil health card alone can bring in a lot of agri startup, provided the soil health data is made open, public to the people that. Because it needs a lot of analysis and, based on the soil data, to at least, even if one agri startup with 5,000 farmers, if they can concentrate on that, you can see that how many agri startups can come up. So this is an important thing. Government has done it during the last 4 years. There's a very massive scale of soil health card database that. It has got so many pillars. One is that the Joint Secretary Agriculture Marketing told about agriculture market, and that was talked about pricing efficiency, and then ENAM is marketing efficiency. Now the soil health card is bringing in production efficiency, and many things can come down. So IT in agriculture is an important thing that, and agri startups can grow like anything. Thank you very much, Dr. Ranjna Nagpal. Now may I request now Mr. Vinay Kumar. He would like to show some film first and then discussion.
Digital Green organizes rural communities to share knowledge on improved agricultural practices, livelihoods, health, and nutrition using locally produced videos and human-mediated dissemination. These videos provide a valuable resource, empowering social workers with better tools, farmers with better practices, and community members with the power to learn from each other. Traditional extension systems face a challenge in the sheer number and remoteness of the households they serve, and existing communication tools have been simply inadequate. The use of video can increase the reach of targeted information and maximize the impact of social workers.
At Digital Green, we partner with existing development efforts that are already working with rural communities. We train 4 to 6 people from the community to produce short videos that are essentially by the community, featuring their testimonials, their experiences, demonstrating practices to their peers, and then have these videos shared amongst the community using mobile projectors that are in the hands of frontline workers who are members of the very same villages in which they share these videos.
Digital Green's approach, combining technology and social organization, has been shown in a controlled evaluation to be 10 times more cost-effective and uptake of new practices 7 times higher compared to the traditional extension system. Videos are produced by the communities themselves. They feature community members demonstrating their experiences with locally relevant practices. By seeing a technique work for their neighbor, others find assurance that it can work for them as well. Community members edit the footage into 10-minute videos and add them to the library on the Digital Green website. You can browse this database by video topics, locations, languages, and more. Video screenings are organized weekly. They are facilitated by a member of the community using battery-powered projectors and speakers. These events provide community members with the opportunity to share experiences and examine new ideas with similar people. Oftentimes, seeing is believing. At Digital Green, learning and reflection forms the basis of future work, and there is a strong emphasis laid on evidence. At each screening, data is collected, including farmers present, videos screened, questions asked, and adoptions of new practices. Near real-time data is reported and analyzed on COCO and Mobile COCO, a data management software which can be used in areas with limited power supply and connectivity. Data collected on the ground informs the next generation of videos in an iterative process that continually addresses the needs and interests of the community. Digital Green is applying lessons first learned in India to projects throughout South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, and to diverse areas including health, nutrition, and agriculture.
I will just take a few more minutes to talk about different innovations that we have been trying in the area of agriculture. Digital Green, we believe, is a smallholder focused centric organization. We empower smallholder farmers to lift themselves out of poverty by harnessing the power of technology and grassroots partnerships. I will take that out because I've already covered this. I'm just trying to compress the time. We have reached over in India 1.5 million farmers in about 9 states, and 95% of these farmers are women. And they've achieved nearly 60% adoption rate across multiple crops and practices. We had conducted a randomized controlled trial by Innovations of Poverty Action and JPAL in Bihar that demonstrated 50% gain in adoption rates and 21 in production. We have also extended this approach across Africa, and we've reached about 2 million farmers in adopting these practices. We reach each and every farmer, and we collect information of what is happening, how many practices the farmer has seen, how many practices the farmer has adopted, and what has been the impact in his life. We have not only scaled our work, but we have also refined our work going forward. We wanted to find out if we can do something more to improve the productivity of the farm. Initially, we took a value chain approach, identified particular crops and a package of practices and exposed farmers to these practices. But then very soon we realized, was it really worth exposing a farmer to 10 to 12 practices for crop? Can we not do something where we expose the farmer to one or two practices that might be most impactful in that particular region. And I'm glad to report that based on our initial work, we have found that in potato, we were able to fetch 64% increase in productivity and income gain by 145%. In wheat, 68% increase in productivity and 116% in income. We are continuing to refine this approach and will work with greater evidence in the future. Very soon, we have also been trying to use complementary digital platforms. We conducted a pilot to complement our videos with IVR, Interactive Voice Response System, to reinforce these messages, and we have found that the adoption rates have increased by 32%. We have also developed a virtual training institute that features good practices on different crops that can be accessed by the frontline workers and eventually by the farmers themselves. Each practice has a quiz, and anybody using it can also figure out how well they have understood the practice. We have also been experimenting with remote sensing technology such as satellite or high-resolution, low-altitude drones to estimate crop yields. We've also been using sensors to collect data on soil moisture, humidity, and pH value, and have been providing advisories to the farmers. We have also begun to use pictures to diagnose health of different crops and provide advisories to the farmers about the health of this thing. In another major experiment, we have used digital platforms to connect farmers, particularly smallholder farmers, to the market through an aggregation and transportation model. We call it Loop. Over 2 years now, 23,000 farmers are actively involved in this effort, having sold vegetables of more than $132 million. This is an entirely farmer initiated effort where cost of aggregation and transport is increasingly being borne by the farmers themselves. We have also been working with Paytm to develop a system of digital payments to the farmers which make the entire effort more commercializable. Finally, I just want to mention that based on our work, we have now begun to feel that this is a great opportunity to transform agriculture development ecosystem more broadly. We propose to do this by more efficiently integrating different content and data from disparate sources like crop science, policy, market, input supply chain, etc., to eliminate the duplication of efforts and intensity and cost of manual coordination. This can also serve as an entry point to catalyze other organizations, government and beyond, to tap into and leverage this wealth of content and data and provide more complementary and higher quality services without having to reinvent knowledge or reestablish relationships with every new actor. Every project that we have seen and worked on, we have found it so difficult to coordinate between different actors, and we hope this platform will be able to bring all of them together in a more seamless fashion. We have already begun to develop this platform by building blocks of digital platform with our own database of unique farmer IDs that we have in our COCO system, as well as our video library of more than 5,000 videos. And there is, we feel, an even greater opportunity to integrate the content and data from other actors. So I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for confining to the time which has been given to you. It is a digital green is a very important project and is also a very successful project, and it is intercontinental. It has become now, but when it was initiated, it is initiated in India, but it has taken very long route in many developing states like Bihar Chhattisgarh, Orissa, and so on and so forth. And, it can generate many agriculture startups, and it is something like an open technology project and open access project, because this country needs, I don't call it as a last mile connectivity. For me, farmer is a first mile connectivity. The first mile person has to have access to the technology. I think digital green is one of the important project which can come in, as he told that it is in various languages, and now with the technology available now, it can have for further variants to the the first mile connectivity. Thank you very much, Mr. Vinay Kumar. May I now request Mr. Krishnan Dharmarajan to give your remarks. Is the person who's done, he was involved in various e-governance initiative, even though he is from an career service officer from income tax service, but he has taken a voluntary retirement. Now he is executive director of a very important, sector, which is called financial inclusion. Mr. Dharmarajan.
Thank you, Professor Moni. When we started looking at financial inclusion and the use of technology for financial inclusion, for us it is very important that we look at the agri sector. Because here we are talking about, when we talk about small and marginal farmers, we are talking about 85% of the farmers being small and marginal, and we are talking about 70% of the country. So you are practically talking about half the population of the country. So when we are talking about financial inclusion and technology, we have to look at half this population of the country. Who is looking at them? That's what we were trying to look at. And when we went closer to the problem of financial inclusion in this sector, what really loomed in front of us was the agrarian crisis. Today we have the land holdings. India has the second largest arable land in the world, but the land holdings are becoming smaller and smaller, and the number of farmers are growing more and more. And so how does the farmer survive? How does he make both ends meet? That is a primary problem. Technology comes much, much later. What is primary problem? So the important thing is, can we drive down his input costs? Can we increase the productivity of the smaller and smaller piece of land that he has? And can we get better prices for what he's trying to sell? That way we'll solve his core problem. I mean, he has to survive, he has to make a decent living. That is the focus of what we are trying to do. And so when we try to get closer to this problem, it is important. We felt that by himself a farmer doesn't mean anything. He's so small. Even any of us in this huge country hardly has a voice. And you can think of a small farmer in a remote village. So the only way he can make his presence felt, he can create an impact on the ecosystem and get something for himself from the ecosystem, is by collectivizing himself in a community. So can we have farmers collectivized as communities? And that is where we have interesting experiments in our country. We have had cooperatives. And more recently, we have farmer-producer organizations, which are formal companies of farmers coming together. So we felt, here is a huge opportunity. Can we integrate, can we weave these farmer communities, weave them through technology, through digital technologies, and enable them to get to better their lot and get a better deal for themselves? So to one end, through a digitally enabled platform, an integrated platform, we can probably have the farmer buying cheaper. Today, the farmer buys in retail and sells in wholesale. Can we reverse it? Can the farmer buy in wholesale and sell in retail? Can we retail? Just reversal of this will improve his lot. What are we going to do that? So we said we could create an integrated digital platform for farmers, or for a farmer organization, or for a farmer collective. So just as you have an ERP system today for large companies which work and integrate all their processes, can the poor farmer and this community also have an ERP system? And he can take on the world with that. And he can take it on with the latest of technologies. That was our dream. And we built such a platform. And right now it's running in Tamil Nadu, Assam, and every state where we go, people want it. So when we show it to the farmers and they want it, we know that we are on a hit. Because the way we have put the platform is that it is not somebody funding for the technology from the top. We want the platform to be meaningful enough for the farmer to pay for it, to be low cost enough for it to be sustainable even with this small income that he gets. So how do you create this low cost technology enabled platform has been our story, and we have made it happen. So some of the interesting things that we need to look at here is that when you look at the larger financial inclusion picture in the country, the places where we are doing our projects, 99% of the farmers have a bank account. 99% because of the Jan Dhan Yojana. Only about 1/3 of them do not have a debit card, despite the Jan Dhan Yojana. And even those who have a debit card, about 80% have never used it at a POS machine. So all this talk about technology and all cashless is all just not reaching the people where it should reach. And why is it that it should reach there? Because for the farmer, the bank ATM is 5 kilometers away. So if you give him any money in his bank account, it is of no use. He has to transact locally. He has to transact digitally. So we have to create a digitally enabled local community, which is essential. Now, why does he not use the bank account? Because the bank account does nothing for him. So can we enable these bank accounts? Can we tie up these bank accounts to its livelihood? And can he get some credit out of it? Can he do some interesting things with it so that he can improve his lot? So that is one of the stories that we wanted to build. So what we found is one of the major things that the farmer sells today, all small and marginal farmers, about 35–40% of them country, they sell milk. And they're very poor small farmers. A typical woman milk farmer may have 2 or 3 cows. She sells some 5 liters of milk in a day. And they're organized into cooperatives, many of them. But despite the fact that they're organized into cooperatives, they are getting paid in cash. So while this one farmer can make a good living, I mean, she's selling milk every day, twice a day, she's getting paid in cash, but then she cannot get a loan because there is no transaction history. No bank is able to believe that you are selling so much of milk. So we said, can we make her sell? Can the money go into her bank account? And can it be done in a low-cost fashion? So all we have done in our pilot is that we have, through a simple mobile-based application in the hands of another farmer who's an aggregator, they're able to collect milk from these poor farmers twice a day. And about 70 lakh of rupees has, in our pilot, gone now into the bank accounts of these farmers. Till yesterday, none of these farmers were entitled to a loan. Today, they can go to a bank right royally, present their digital statement and say, here, I can get a loan. And this is all almost zero cost. It is really low-cost technology taking it to the people. And now, when she gets her money into her bank account, there is a problem. How does she use the money? Because it is 5 kilometers away is the bank. So we have to create a cashless transaction environment in the village. So we need an input shop where the farmers can buy input seeds and fertilizers cashless, which can also double up as a local kirana shop where they can buy whatever they want. And in the process, this entire digitally enabled community comes, which makes sense to the farmer. Another module that we have built is that farmer sharing machinery. So if we want to improve productivity, machinery has to be brought by the collective and shared amongst the farmers, and they have to pay for it. So we have created a digital platform where through a mobile app, they can summon any equipment of their choice, and they can get it and pay for it digitally. So you are doing another step closer to improving the productivity. Then taking it to the marketplace. So there is another module which actually aggregates the farmer's produce, picks it from the doorstep, and takes it closer to the market. So that's some way he's going to get better prices for what he produces. So multiple things that a farmer does from his viewpoint. We are not looking at blockchains, we are not looking at AI, all that can happen. I am just looking at it from a small farm's perspective. What can technology do for me? How can I make this Jan Dhan account do something for me? How can I get loans from the bank at 12%, while otherwise I'm going to the money lender at 36%? How can I do all this? And with a small digitally enabled low-cost environment, we have been able to demonstrate that it is possible to do it in a sustainable fashion. So what we need now going forward is to replicate such digitally enabled communities, build local leadership, gather people together, and improve their bargaining power, and make technology do for them, take them closer to the market, reduce their input prices and all of that. So we are not just talking technology here, we are talking about a movement of farmers, movement where technology is part of their story to get a better deal for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Krishnan Dharmarajan. And as you rightly said it, that technology in agriculture can bring more employment opportunities for our rural youths. And it is being, again and again, being proved And, as of today, somebody has sent a WhatsApp message that is a 31 million job is needed in this country. And, what about the alternate employment opportunity? Agriculture can provide any number of employment opportunities at the rural areas. It's a very good opportunity, and the models which Mr. Dharmarajan is talking about can become a demonstrable model for taking to the rural areas. That is an important thing, and thank you very much for bringing it out. And now, can I request Mr. Rana? He will be talking about the smart controlled irrigation pumps.
Good afternoon to all. Thanks to Chair and the organizers to be me over here. I have a small presentation on the agriculture pump, because the pump is a lifeline of any farmer in this country. So I will present this presentation. Is it coming? No. Yeah, just for the information purpose that we have around 2 crore grid connected agriculture pump set in this country and around 1 crore diesel pump sets in our country. And you will surprised to note that total almost 20% of the electricity which the India produce goes into the agriculture sector. So the farmer consumes around 20% electricity. And in most of the states, the agriculture supplies are free of cost to the farmer or at a very nominal cost. So the total outlay on the subsidy is somewhere around 65,000 crores per annum. It's a huge amount. So I'm from Energy Efficiency Services. It's a Ministry of Power organization, public sector. So we are taking up number of programs, national level programs, LED bulb programs, street light programs, and we have electric vehicle program, smart meter, and this agriculture pump program also, apart from solarization of agriculture pumps. So we have done number of projects where basically I want to just would like to tell you that how this program is being structured. Farmers being supplied free of cost electricity, so they are using the old age pump set, which are inefficient since they do not need to pay any electricity bill for the power they are consuming. And if we will force, or the government will force them to use the energy efficient pump set or the branded pump set, the cost difference between a localized pump and the branded pump and the energy efficient pump is somewhere around 30 to 40%. So for farmer, there is no incentive. So he is using the pump set, which if due to poor supply, the not proper voltage that gets burned out also, and the consumption can keep on increasing after rewinding. So under this program, what we are doing, we are taking up with the state governments, and we are selecting an area where the old pump set is being replaced with the new BE 5-star pump set at free of cost to the farmers. And whatever the energy savings happen because of the replacement of the pump, that energy saving get monetized, and we are being paid back from that energy saving from the DISCOM. So in a way, farmer gets a new pump set, and the DISCOM and the state governments gets the reduced energy subsidy on that one. We have started the program in the state of Karnataka and Maharashtra also. We have reached to the farmer, since farmer is the owner of the pump set. And when we reach them, so they will feel that what is the incentive they are getting, the new pump set they will get, definitely they will say, it's okay, but my old pump set is working fine, why should I go for this one? Then we used to tell them that we will provide you the 5 years free repair and maintenance service also, where if the pump set goes out of order or anything happen to the pump set, that will be repaired free of cost. Still, there was a lackluster response from the farmer. Then we have introduced the new smart control panel into the program. Now this, through smart control panel, the farmer can switch on, switch off the pump anywhere he is there. He need not to be present in the field. We may be knowing that, that in India, generally the farmer gets the electricity during night time because of the peak demand and all this thing. So farmer, most of the farmer, what they do, they put the starter on the automated mode, and whenever the electricity comes, the pumps get started, and whenever the electricity goes, the pump stops, generally in 6 to 8 hours in the night time. So by this method, he is consuming a lot of water, groundwater depletion is going on. The second thing is that the electricity consumption is also on the higher side. Maybe he's required 3 hours of water, but who will go to the field 12 o'clock in the night and will come back 3 o'clock in the night? So this smart control panel is a tool through which he can switch on, switch off the pump wherever he is, any part of the country, anytime he will get the alert also when the electricity is available. He can switch off also. So we are running number of educational program also through the Krishi Vigyan Kendra and the local agriculture universities also, to educate them that it's not about the power which you are saving, it's about the water also, because we have to give something to our generation to come. So we have to be very conscious about all this thing. He's also saving the money also in a way that he practically need not to go to the field for this one. So this is, I was talking about for some pilot projects or the small projects we have taken up in the Solapur, that is in Maharashtra, then Hubli in Karnataka, Mysore also in Karnataka, and Rajnandgaon in AP. And the initial programs were of a small scale, where the pre-measurement and post-measurement is to be done for the pump, old pump and the new pump, and based on that, the DISCOM used to pay us. But we have approached the DISCOM to the Andhra Pradesh government that the only constraint is that the state government is saying that about the energy saving, because from that they have to pay to us. So we said that number of programs has happened, and it is the energy saving is more than 30% in every place. So now the Andhra Pradesh government agreed to our proposal, and now we have taken up a 1 lakh program where the farmer can come up with the old pump set at the counter, designated counter at the DISCOM office, and they can take up the new pump set. The old pump is to be dismantled, so it should not go back to the system. That is to be installed at the farmer field with the CCMS system, with geo coordination, and on the real-time data that how much the consumption the pumps are doing. We have taken up in the Uttar Pradesh also, where 10 lakh pumps is to be done in the next 5 years. The mobile app we have developed, where we can get the real time that how many pumps are being installed at the farmer field, what is the consumption. The farmer application can be filled through this mobile app, web portal based. These are the few of the snapshots. In Andhra Pradesh, as I said, the government is proactive and they have taken the steps. The farmers are queuing up, and it's a very, very successful program. So far in the last 5 months, it has started. More than 35,000 pumps has been installed in the farmers. And we are hoping by the end of this financial year, the full 1 lakh pump set will be put up. Now, another program with the similar lines as per the government initiative for doubling the farmer incomes, we are putting up the solarization of agriculture pump also, where the solar panel to the capacity of almost 3 times of the farmer pump set will be put up his field. The 2/3 electricity can be evacuated to the grid, having a DISCOM, PPA with the DISCOM, and 1/3 can be consumed by the farmer. And that 1/3 quota of the electricity which farmers is having, if he will save the electricity, the incentive will be provided to the farmer. So by this way, he will save the electricity also, save the water also, and he will get some money out of that. So this is what I have told about the grid-connected agriculture solar pump set. This I have already explained that out of total energy generation, 2/3 will go to the grid and 1/3 to the farmer, and save electricity can also go, and he can save some amount around 10,000 to 15,000 in a year through this one without investing any money. Again, it is also free of cost. The model is like that. So that is from my side. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Rana. It's a very important grid connectivity. In the Doubling the Farmer's Income by 2022 committee report, where I chaired 2 subcommittees, one is on agriculture extension, another one is on digital technology in agriculture. In that report, we are suggested to have an grid connectivity for agriculture IoT. So I think since you already established a grid connectivity, for your project. And this is another important thing that, many agri startups would like to have IoTs, but it has to have an at least panchayat level monitoring and a control panel, which, control center we have suggested. I think now I will take it up further to discuss with you to see that how these both grid, control panels can exist at the panchayat level. Thank you very much. I think it is now is my turn that to summarize. First of all, I should thank Mr. Prasanta Swain, Joint Secretary and Agriculture Marketing Advisor, for bringing out a very important national program, a game changer in the marketing efficiency. Second is that Dr. Nora Galway, she talked about the lot of digital technology projects in agriculture, and we have been talking about how to have a technology collaboration projects between India and Australia. Dr. Ranjna Nagpal, Deputy Director General, National Informatics Center, talked about various IT projects in agriculture, which can pave the way for many agriculture startups in the country. Mr. Krishnan Dharmarajan, I know him for the last 10 years. He was instrumental in giving up a framework strategy for various e-governance projects. Now he is working in a very important area at the grassroots level, and financial inclusion is an important thing that small and marginal farmers, still for them to have especially agricultural small and farmers, having a financial inclusion is a difficult process that. So this is an important thing that, he's also whatever the projects which he is doing it also has to be made replicatable. And Mr. Rana has talked about very important thing now taking leave from his project. Now the IoT sensors control panel also can get integrated with their grid panel. Thank you very much. Now with respect to the, title which the authorities was given, I thought that, let me take the first presentation, then after coming over here, since we are getting late, I thought that let the panel members talk about it and then briefly, put it. It is, I thought that is three areas are more important. One is marketing innovations. The marketing innovations is in one. Now it has to be their input marketing as well as also output marketing. Because as far as the farmer is concerned, he has to buy a lot of inputs, and which is not regulated, whereas the output market is regulated. And I'm very happy that, some of the international agencies, they are now concentrating only on bringing in input market efficiencies to the farmers. Buy wholesale purchase for their inputs and make it available below price that. Today, farmers has to run from pillar to post. But after with the large scale input, now when they go for output, that, they get into the distress that. So even the input marketing itself can bring in a lot of agriculture startups that, which in many in India, we don't find such type of input market efficiency, is available there. This is in vast area. Second one is in output marketing, we have to bring in a complete value systems in terms of processed, value addition, and logistics that. And agriculture value systems, nobody is talking about the domestic trade. Recently when we have been discussing about it, that northeastern region produces a lot of sticky rice, which doesn't have a market. Either they throw the rice into the river because there is a storage problem, or they give it as a feed to the animals that. But there is a place in Madurai, they have a Madurai cluster of mills. Traditionally, they produce rice extruded products, and which they are doing it for the last 200 and 300 years. And they export it to Southeast Asia. And that's, previously they used to get it from Burma. When Burma was, gone away from, India, and for 30 years, they were able to get the rice, but now Burma is very difficult to get the sticky rice from the Burma. Now, why can't we have it? So now, somebody told me 4 years back, I have been talking to the people now, it is finding a place. Now, there are a lot of agencies talking about between Northeastern region and Madurai with 400 mills, every day they need 1 ton, sticky rice. 400 mills means 400 tons. It means about 700 ton paddy every day. Now, it is an important thing. So, domestic trade is also an important thing that many, we have to have a trader-seller platforms. And it is an important thing that. And export is another aspect that we have to bring in a lot of value chain. And then technology in agriculture, now it has to look into irrigated agricultural systems, rainfed agricultural systems. So far, nobody talked about tribal agricultural system, what type of technology is necessary. Tribal agriculture is a sustainable agriculture, and it has to be looked into it. It can bring in a lot of value chain even for the people in the tribal areas. And then what is needed is that rural processing enterprises, where the production is taking place, it has to be processed. And processing technologies not only for food and non-food. So I would like to give an example that, the marketing innovations, it's all taking place, but it has to take place which can bring in some sort of an value. And then it can produce a lot of employment opportunities and a lot of technologies in agriculture. I would like to refer that in the, in the volume 12 of the doubling the farmer's income, by 2022, there is a separate volume talks about digital technology in agriculture, where I, as a chairman of that subcommittee, we have contributed a lot. And whoever is interested, please get into that. I think it has been put it for the public domain. And, which talks about almost all the areas which has been now talked about it. There has to be an increased role of IoT. An increased role of, Industry 4.0, Industry IoT, and GIS technologies, agricultural, artificial intelligence, and blockchain technology, and so on and so forth. And we also talked about a lot of pilot projects can be initiated. These 7, mission mode project we have suggested. Digitalized agriculture. Digital technology and innovation in agriculture, and even though for the last 4 years, the country, this present government has come out with very important innovative schemes like Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, and Startup India. Unfortunately, in the agricultural sector, none of the institutions have seen as an integrated approach of these 4 national mission mode project schemes for the agriculture at the grassroots level. If this would have been done, today agriculture would have provided large-scale employment opportunities. So it is necessary, my request is that the organizers to make it as an important recommendation to the authorities that. And that is also for irrigated agriculture, rainfed agriculture, and tribal agricultural systems that. Digitalized agromet advisories and agricultural risk management solutions. At the grassroots level, agriculture means it is a community risk management. And it can have a complete, ICT solutions, and every farmer needs a separate agromet advisories, not a common agromet advisories. And we have to come out from the general sending through SMS their agromet advisories to the targeted 13 crore farmers, agromet advisories is what needed in his own language, understandable manner. And then digitalized agricultural resources information system. In this country, unfortunately, we don't have a comprehensive village level information system. Comprehensive agricultural resources information system. What is needed is smart village and smart agriculture. 2002, when I was in the service as the Deputy Director General, I was instrumental in bringing for Smart Village scheme. Unfortunately, it was not operationalized. When the President, the Honorable Prime Minister announced Smart City, I rolled out that Smart Village program from my shelf through the university. And the Smart Village is an important thing concept. And Smart Agriculture, Smart Village, is inertial, and Smart Irrigated System, Smart Rainfed, and Small Tribal Agriculture System. We produce 400 agriculture commodities. And this commodity has to get into agriculture value system, ICT-enabled agriculture value system for farms to profit. Canada has got about 9 agriculture value system. They produce only for 6 months, but they are expert in world exports. India produces agriculture commodities throughout the year, 400 commodities. We can provide, India can be the football for the entire world, provided we get into agriculture value chain for 400 commodities. Then, complete digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agricultural finance, credit, marketing, and agribusiness management to the farmers. Mr. Dharmarajan talked about the financial inclusion. It's a completely digitalized access. Banking related things, 18 services are available to the farmer. Small and marginal farmers don't know what type of services are available from the banking systems. Right? So that's why this, we have made it as a mission mode project to be undertaken under the doubling the farmers' income by 2022. Digitalized integrated land and water management system and digitalized farm health management system. We have a plant health system, we have a soil health system, we have animal health system, we have water health system, and we have fisheries health system, but the farmer needs as an integrated one health system on his farm, rather than he's seeing as a silos that. So even the Western countries, they are now talking about one health and eco health, and this we have been talking about digitalized farm health management system for reduction of farmers' loss. So this is an important thing. This can bring in large scale, employment opportunities for the farmers that. This is one project which I have taken. We have talked about the 400 agriculture commodities. I thought that let us take one banana, which is the banana. It is 30, it constitutes 30% of the horticulture commodities, perishable item, but every aspect of banana can bring in wealth. We can generate wealth from the waste. And that's why I thought that, let me do it. I'm also a chairman of a big NGO in Tamil Nadu, which is called Ahimsa, which has got about something like 6 lakhs farmers and about 1,000 youth club and about 3,000 self-help group. We have identified about 5 districts, about 1,40,000 acres and 42,000 farmers, so many varieties of banana and banana value chain, which is now I'm working on the basis of the value chain, which is given by Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. And this is the, the economic value chain. Trying to establish a technology center and banana agro processing center in the place where it is being produced. The number of farmers are 42,700. Extent of area is 1,40,000 acres. The production capacity is 60 metric ton per acre. It can produce about 84 lakhs metric ton. The revenue which can be realized is 16,800 crores. And if we bring in a completely, investment with the science and technology based, development and so on and so forth, and the initial requirement for is needed for 9,800 crores, but the profit alone in the first year is that 7,000 crores. And the profit per farmer is about 6,39,344, and the profit per acre is about 5 lakhs. These are all the things is available, but who is going to build the cat? It's there in the village. It is there on the farmer, and so many, we can have a lot of byproducts. We can generate ethanol, we can generate methane productions, and so on and so forth. So many non-food and food products can take place that. So this is what one industrialist has come out to give about 20 acres of land and financial institutions, many agencies would like to come down to have it, and Minister of Agriculture has even asked me to see that as a demonstrable program. If one such type of things comes, is not only for one commodity. We have 13 states are producing banana, and which can bring in large scale employment opportunities, to make it from the waste from the banana. And I was talking to even paper can be produced from banana waste. We are now trying to talk to this industry for technology from Australia, Papyrus Australia Limited, and they are bringing out a lot of things which they say that the same technology can be used for sugarcane waste, rubber tree, palm oil, and so on and so forth. So it means that even from making these products, we can even reduce the use of wood products for various our daily usage in the house. So these are some of the things, technologies are available, and we would like to bring in the complete digital platform for the farmers. So the thing is that the agriculture is a sector, large scale adoption of agriculture technology and digital technology can bring in large scale employment, more money to the farmers at the first mile connectivity of the farmer. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity for the panel as well as also for me with an appropriately titled market innovations and the technology in agriculture. Digital technology in agriculture is the way for agriculture innovations and bringing in more employment opportunities. Thank you very much. Even though the number of participants, we started with the full hall, but now, the interested people have stayed back. I think it is more than 25. Now, the session is yours.
So my question is to Mr. Dharmarajan. Financial inclusion, sir, is possible only in India on smartphones, and 80% of Indian farmers won't have smartphones. Still, 60% of India uses feature phones, and I would guess 80% of farmers would be using feature phones. They have no smartphones. There's not a single solution which is available on feature phones. Probably you need to develop a solution which is working on voice and SMS for these farmers for financial inclusion. One other observation for the entire panel. I attended a hydroponics seminar by an Australian consultant. Amazing use of IoT, which probably solves India's issues. Hydroponics can be done on very small farmlands, and output is phenomenal. In theory, in the seminar, I was told output can be 20 times on the same area of land using hydroponics and aquaponics. And that used IoT in an amazing way.
Yeah, just to respond to that, smartphones is one of the means of accessing tools. We are saying even things which are already available are not being used. For instance, we are saying, say, 99% have a bank account, but 1/3 of them don't have a debit card. So why don't they first get the debit card? Then if 60% already have debit cards, 2/3 of them, 66%, then why are they not using the debit cards locally? All the devices are available. MDR is now free. There is no merchant discount rate. So all these are doable things. It is just that, the ecosystem is not coming around to do it. In our own pilot, let me give you an example. We had to struggle for 6 to 8 months just to convince a bank to put a POS machine when we were paying the money. Still, he is not willing to come. They're all talking in 5-star hotels. When you actually go asking for a POS machine in a village, nobody is prepared to come and give it there. Okay, and when they have a target of POS machines, there are Nalli Saris will have 4 POS machines. They will put another 4 POS machines in the same building, and they will reach the target of POS machines. But they will not go to the village and put it in where the farmer needs it. So the tools are available. We have to push the ecosystem to make it available to the farmer and create a story for him to make use of that. That's what we are at.
Question to Dr. Nagpal. Congratulations, you have laid down the whole canvas of IT information systems available. Question was, to whom it is available? Is it or everything available to the farmer? Me and my colleagues are also have entered farming, but we haven't seen heard about almost everything and not seen much of it, or not aware. If we are not aware, living in a more exposed society, how is a farmer going to be aware and using it? Thank you.
See, these are the information systems in e-governance domain, and they are web-based systems available in public domain. In terms of monitoring and information that is being collected through various schemes. So how we analyze that data and how government uses it for decision making, that part is inbuilt in the software. The information, for example, you are saying soil health card. If you go to soil health card portal, there is a full farmer link there which can be used by somebody who can help the farmer even generate the card, or to know where is the laboratory, how to go for the test at the laboratory and all. So the services are free for the generation of soil health card, and the full guidelines and procedure, laboratory list, phone. Nowadays we also get calls from public that if I need a soil health card or want my testing done, what is the procedure? So the nodal officer details, everything is in public domain, including the GIS maps which I showed and the dashboards. Similarly, mobile app is available for download for seeing the cards. Then another application of fertilizer data, all reports relating to fertilizer sale, POS-wise sale at each retailer. Government, it's a very recent phenomena that we are giving the DBT for fertilizer online. And from May onwards, it is mandatory that no retailer will do sales. So it is available in public domain. And farmers, the way the scheme impacts him, then he becomes part of this system. Like for example, he wants to buy farm machinery. Then he'll go to the local block officer, and the application form that he will fill up and the workflow that works around it, where the masters of all the farm machinery in that locality with some kind of grading is available with the rates, MRPs, everything. So that information we are making available for the sort of machinery which is working around the farming unit. So farmer himself may not be able to use that information, but in certain cases he can use it also, because it is in certain information where we need multilingual, we are making it multilingual. The workflows are in English at present, but the details are available in other languages also.
Good evening.
Just 1 minute.
Sure.
Related to one that, 1 year back there was a conference by Smart Agri Post where our Honorable Secretary Agriculture was giving the valedictory address. So one of the participants asked that sir, you have created a very good soil health card data. Why don't you make it open? Because we can generate a lot of agri startups and we can make services to the people. That has made that, to prepare a proposal as to how to engage the people at the lowest level to use this soil health card information which is available to the, people that, This is one way that you have given a point that now I'm also as a chief advisor IT in the ministry, I put it over. So we will also see to that how the data which is available with the government is possible for going back to the people so that it generate more value-added services at the grassroots level. So that's more important. We have 2.25 lakhs common services centers, Atma centers, KVKs. We have to see to that how they provide these services, take the data from the government websites and make it available at the grassroots level. That is more important. Thank you very much. Yes, that.
My question is with Mr. Rana. Sir, do you also provide the pipelines to save the water transferring from the this pump to field? And when will this technology come to northern states like Punjab and Haryana, the most consuming underground water states?
As I said, that it is retrofitting of the old pump and replacement of the old pump with the new pump, nothing else basically, because these are the commercially viable models where we are not taking out any money from the farmers. It is the arrangement with the local DISCOM and state governments So that has to be within the project duration, say 3 years and 5 years, we have to be able to recover the cost also. So if you will add more things, then the project becomes unviable. And talk about the northern states or any other states, we are, as per the direction of Ministry of Power, we have sent a proposal to almost all the states. The states are coming up, they are at different level. Somewhere it is at implementation, somewhere it is on the discussion mode.
Good evening. My question is to Professor Moni and Dr. Nagpal. I want to understand how blockchain technology is being put into use in agriculture or whatever domain you people are working on.
Okay, it's a good question, and even though the 1 or 2 slides where Madam has put it for that how they would like to do that, but in simple, please sit down. So, see today the blockchain technology has been used in financial sectors that data cannot be hacked, and it can bring in confidence, and it's all different registers. And even if even an agriculture sector, that the farmer, if the farmer doesn't have, he is yet to get confidence on the systems in which he is working on it. Like now in the financial systems, which the blockchain technology has brought it a lot of confidence to the people working on it. So the same concept is being put to work here, that how to bring in, rather than putting all the information in one place, where it can be easily get hacked at whatever it may be. So put it in different places with the different token systems, and so that the system brings it depending upon the token system you have been provided with that, and bring it as a value system to you. So it's now that there are various pilot projects which are all now being talked about it, and in land records information system is now being adopted, the blockchain technology, and even in the doubling the farmers' income also we are talking about in a big manner to be adopt this blockchain technology.
Basically, as Sir has rightly mentioned, that to adopt blockchain, we need first a confidence in the data and the correct information being available. So, in the second cycle of soil health card, we have tried to put more checks and balances in the data. In the first cycle, lot of things were left open, including in some data, even the father name was missing, because we had not put that many checks, because we were not getting the data entered. Now in the second cycle, we have put lot of checks. So that data, plus somewhere in the organic farming, we have started working, where group of farmers and their produce, for last 3 years, we are having the data, continuous information from those identified fields, the traceability parameters of that, and mapping it with the next level of crop prediction or the best crop for that soil. This is the area we have just recently started looking into the correctness of data first, and the fertilizer information that now we are building up in terms of sale and use of fertilizer. Because see, all these years we are having sale district-wise, fertilizer sale district-wise in MIS, where the bills were getting cleared through an online system of DBT and of bill clearance. But whether that actual sale is used for that field, we are not sure. Second cycle is, you will be surprised to know that we are going to, like yesterday and day before, one new POS application version we are releasing for the fertilizer sale, where we have included soil health card number to be captured. So then only I will know that this farmer will use it for this field. But if I put it in the first, if government puts it in the first cycle itself, already we are binding him with Aadhaar, which was difficult to adopt. Then POS devices, then all sorts of network issues, language issues. So in 2 years, this is a recent phenomenon of last September only, this POS-based sale of fertilizer started. And now this September, we are going mapping it with soil health card and land records. So then this question of IoT and this thing. So pilots we have initiated where I know my data quality is more dependable. We know the pockets, the states, even the maps of those villages are available with us, where we have the exact information. So very carefully we will have to do this IoT and blockchain in agriculture.
No, in addition to that, see, since agriculture is going to be a very important sector, we have to, build up a system wherein only the people who are in the value chain only should be in a position to know this data. Under any circumstances, we cannot open this data to the globally, because tomorrow we do not know how the global systems can bring in constraints to our own food systems in the country. So this is another danger which we are now going to look into it, because the whole world is looking towards, with respect to India, is the food bowl, which can produce food for the whole world. So we have to build up systems in such a manner that it has to be, confidential to India for the, all analysts, all economists, and so that we will be able to use this information in a very careful manner. And it is not like other systems. Like, one discussion we are also, talking about that maybe agriculture system may be like another defense systems that. So that's where the blockchain technology in agriculture is an important area that. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. My question is actually to Mr. Prasanta Kumar.
May I request you to please take this
Yeah.
offline, because our speakers are really waiting?
Just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. It's an important question actually. Actually, yes, sir. Sir, my question, sir, actually, ENAM is a revolutionary idea which was unique in South Asia, which bring in last 2 years. It was quite successful also in northern state. But my question is, actually, ENAM is saying that connecting one farmer in one state and another consumer or wholesale consumer in another state. So what is the transport value chain which is going to supply these agri products to other state? Also at the same time, if a farmer is from West Bengal and another farmer is from West Bengal and another consumer was from Uttar Pradesh, if he is consuming 10 kg potato for 100 rupees in West Bengal, at the same time the 10 kg potato was available in Uttar Pradesh in the same price. If he transport the cost, at the same time the West Bengal farmer will suffer from the cost of production by selling the product to transport the agri product. So what is the transport logistic which is used by you for making the transportation logistic value chain into profitable manner? At the same time, my suggestion is, why can't we use loss-making state transport commission vehicles, which is by parcel ways like waterway mission, which is recently launched? Why can't we use these mechanisms to transport those agri products to these interstate transmission of agriculture goods to make the doubling the farmers' income by 2022?
Thank you. In fact, since I was only asked to speak on ENAM, so I spoke on ENAM. I should have been spoken about the entire value chain system from farm to the fork. But anyway, the question that you have raised is very important, because India is a powerhouse of production. But question is, when it value realization it comes to, the market plays an important role. But what you have spoken about the dynamics between the two markets, or more than two markets between the states. So Mr. Moni has very clearly brought out in his slide that logistic and transportation, it's a very important thing. Currently, how it is happening is that between two markets, whether within the state or within there are various stakeholders in a market, like not only farmer or the seller, there are also the commission agents, there are also the traders. So if you look at something like big retailers, they place an order on the trader. They may be located somewhere else in other cities. So the traders do physically the transactions, and then thereafter, they also provide the logistic service. Logistic service can be in various ways. You'll also agree that is can be the packaging, can be the cleaning, sorting, grading, can be the storage at third-party place, delivery at a different time, the transportation, and temperature, climatic control. All these are provided by this logistic provider in a physical market. ENAM is in the nascent stage. 2 years we have just passed. We are trying to develop this technological platform to ensure that they start operating in a stable thing. We had a lot of problem last year. We have now moved away from there and strengthened. We are now developing a logistic platform on this ENAM. We are going to launch a pilot on this. Recently we had Nagarjuna people are working on it. There will be providing this logistic service, as you have said. when in-app transaction is over in the in-app platform, then if the user wants it, they will transit to the logistic platform where the bouquet of services, as I have said, can be offered, and they are working around 400 players who are now supposedly registered on this. We'll be testing it on a pilot basis. So this will include from not only transportation, warehousing, packaging, but even the payment settlement, which will be outside the in-app, because in-app payment settlement I have shown is within in-app. But for these services outside the in-app, that will be another logistic platform that we are developing. Currently, it is happening as it is various basis. We have now surveyed the markets, surveyed these markets about the flow of the goods, and then this logistic platform will be piloted on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
One question.
Please take it offline. I request you to please take this offline. Thank you, speakers. I now request Professor Moni to please hand over token of appreciation to all our eminent speakers sitting on the dais. Shri Prasanta Kumar Swain. I request the audience to please give a round of applause to all our speakers. Mr. Krishnan Dharmarajan. Ms. Nora Galway. So please come forward. Mr. Vinay Kumar. Dr. Ranjna Nagpal. Mr. Rajneesh Rana. Request Radhika to please hand over token of appreciation to our chairperson, Professor Moni. Ladies and gentlemen, we will start with our session, next session immediately. If you need to carry your coffee, tea, beverages, please carry it inside the conference room. Our speakers are ready. They'll just come in a while.